Look, it is very important. It's a very important day today. I really want to thank the organizers who I do acknowledge with a lot of respect that they have organized this, and they have organized this for posterity, for the good of our society. And therefore, I really want to say that the youth who have come together in hand, in strength, to establish this very important national conversation to our people. It is very important that we acknowledge them, and therefore the chairman and the secretariat of this very important meeting, I really want to say that it is a buckwheat for you. So I really want to say that continue this. You see, national conversation is not for particular individuals, for particular people. It is for everyone, every Kenyan from all walks of lives. And therefore, the youth are not exceptional. They are inceptional, which means they are part and parcel of that particular boat of conversation, national conversation that we are having today, that we are having in this country. And when I say today, it does not necessarily mean today, the Saturday, but it means today, at this particular time of the year, that we are doing that. The particular reason why I say this is I want to flip back into history. I want to go back and talk about history in the beginning. Let's not forget, for many of us who are not born at the time when Kenya got independence in 1963, and to be precise, at midnight, 12th of December 1963, for many of us, including myself, were not there. And it is important that we realize that it was a very, very valuable moment for us. It was a very important occasion for all Kenyans, for the generation that came after, and for the generation that struggled for this country, including our forefathers and our foremothers who have borne the brunt of the brutality of colonization. Given that that was where we were in 1963, where are we today? I'll just highlight a couple of things, and I'll highlight a couple of the developments that really happened, and that will bring me to the current discussions today. In 1963, December 12th, we've gotten our independence. Then in 1964, that is about 19 days later, we became a republic, and that is 1964. Given that we became a republic, an independent institution, entity, an independent country, a country that holds its own mandate, a country that carries its own cons and pros, we became an important republic in this world. In 1966, the provisional assemblies were dismantled. At the time, the House of Representatives, the current National Assembly, it used to be called the House of Representatives, were combined, amalgamated with the senators that were there at the time. And therefore, we became only one house. That's the Kenya National Assembly. I'm going through the historical process so that you can understand where we are today. In 1976, constitutional amendment was developed, was established. That constitutional amendment was the one that we shrugged off the constitution that was there pre-independence, that is the colonial constitution. And therefore the conversation has begun way, way long time ago. From there on, in 1982, multi-party was abolished and we became a single party. In fact, in my personal opinion, and in the opinion of many younger people, it was another colonial time for us, because we were not having independent conversation as we do have today because of the single party that began in in the early times. And therefore, in 1982, multi-party was abolished and we became a single party. That is a dictatorial period. From there on, in 1991, the then President Moi, at Kasarani, he established a process by which Article 2A of the Constitution was repealed. And in that repealing, we have realized a process that began for this country again. And therefore, a president was to have a limited time. That is what happened in 1991. And then in 2010, I mean, there are many other things that happened over that period of time since independence, but I have decided to highlight the key critical points and key critical times of our time. And that is in 2010, of course, in 2005, I mean, the government was defeated in their own plans to amend the Constitution. I think you will remember that in 2005. Many of you currently here would be hearing about it and know about it. And in 2020, as you and I are present here, there is obviously a national conversation that's happening. Are we supposed to be part and parcel of that national conversation or not? Should we be able to be putting our voices and our needs into that conversation? Shall we be away from that conversation? And in the Somali proverbial words that they say, Ninki makamba si isa divedala. What that means is he who is away, his cow will have a bull, not a haver. And therefore, we need to be aware of that, what that means. But I mean, that is to highlight to you why it is important for us to be present at the table of discussion and national conversation. And the youth are the most important members of our society. I want to use a terminology that every one of you is familiar with. Today, the imperative is imperative. What do I mean by the imperative is imperative? I'm using the same word for, explanation of another word. The imperative are the youth, and it is imperative that they come to the table and discuss what they think of their future. The future is in your hands. But for me, my worry isn't necessarily about the youth of today. It is the generation to come. It is the generation to come that you and I will be passing on the baton of our livelihood to them. We have had historical injustices. We have had complete historical injustices in this country. And that seems to continue. I am a member, an executive member, or a national treasurer of the Pastoralist Parliamentary Group. You have a representation there from Northeastern. You have a representation there from the entire Asal region. And therefore, when a conversation is happening, I will be sitting there. I'm not a youth. I may look youthful, but I'm past the age of 35. Therefore, I'm not a youth, as defined by a few people. But I want to ruffle a bit of my feathers on that. I will be watching on the time. Wajua, katika Kiswahili tuwasema kuzingira katika mazingira ya wananchi ya watu wetu. Manake lazima tuangalie ni vipi tuweza kaa katika viti na katika mezani. Tukiangalia mambo letu itaendelea katika kiwango la juu. And therefore, for us, it is not about sitting there and being given what people think should give us. Shared prosperity and constitutional reform is what we are looking at in BBI. Our shared prosperity is what we want to leave as a legacy for the rest of the leadership that is going to come again later. And therefore, we must join our hands to ensure that our conversation is heard loudly and clearly by the proponents, by those who are driving the BBI, is you and I. And today, as a legislator myself, I will make sure that no stone is left unturned to ensure that our society, our people, are well represented and their share of the cake of this nation is given to us without begging and kneeling down for it. We will get it standing up. We will get it with a long arm. We will get it with a short arm. and we will get it with all our hearts together. But one thing I really want the youth to know is that that conversation that is happening in the parliament, you're well represented by us, by all those that are sitting here. And let me tell you one final thing, is that prosperity does not come on a silver platter. Prosperity comes when you are only sitting on the table to ensure that you have had it in your hand. I want to conclude. We will not be ring-fencing opportunities for others. BBI will not do that, and it shouldn't do that. We will not ring-fence opportunities for other parts of this country. 80% of this country are ASAL region. 80% of the landmass. I come from the second largest constituency in this country at 23,000 square kilometers, which is about the size of Central Province, Nairobi Province, and Western Province combined. It's almost 23,000 square kilometers. The size of Rwanda is about 26,000 square kilometers. So I'm sort of a Paul Kagame. I'm the president of a constituency in that sense. But what I'm only saying is our shared posterity will only come when we listen to each other. Wajir South size is equivalent to about 64 constituencies. Yoningwana je, Leonard Mambo Mpotela alikuwa akisema hivyo. Kwa hivyo, thank you very much for listening to me, and God bless you all, and we need to support this process so that we are there to get our rights, our rights, our rights, our rights.